Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ash.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to another 10 Reasons Why video, and if you clicked on the title you will see that this is 10 reasons why Romain Grosjean was re-signed by Haas. Thanks to Kids Love F1, he gave a recommendation that he thought this would do. We'll do some 10 reasons why that are from our kind of own thoughts, but also we kind of quite like hearing your guys' suggestions and putting them out there as well. But I think this is our first video together in 2020.
It is, yes. I've been a bit.
I think we've been busy, and as you can tell, we're in the process of kind of revamping the studio a bit. So white backgrounds, and then we'll decorate with stuff which we're excited to do. But yeah, go from there. We'll mainly get into the video today. So 10 reasons why Romain Grosjean was re-signed by Haas. Number 1.
You were starting, weren't you?
I'm starting. Got ya. I'll start. Loyalty.
What was that? I don't know. You can start.
We'll go from there. I'll start. Number 1, loyalty. Romain Grosjean has been with Haas since their kind of introduction into F1 in 2016. And it seems they are kind of quite a family team. He has been close with Gene Haas and Günther Steiner as well. It almost seemed like, although maybe the past season or two hasn't been ideal what they would have wanted from him, he has given them a lot as well, so they wanted to stick by their man.
They owe him one, really. When you look at the performances last season, Haas wasn't at a level that they were expected to be at, especially considering the year before they were challenging for best of the rest. I feel one of the reasons is they feel as if they owe him a card that is going to allow him to compete.
Moving on to another point, and that is the fact that he brings financial backing to the team, which, you know, with the Orland deal with Robert Kubica not being signed, obviously the Rich Energy debacle that happened in 2019, financial cash is a really big point for Haas as a team, and Romain Grosjean does bring some money with him, where the one contender with him, Nico Hülkenberg, does not. So I think financial backing and what he brings to the team is certainly a big factor as well.
His relationship with Kevin Magnussen. Now, on the track, you can say it's quite frosty. They both go for moves on each other that you wouldn't expect from teammates. But if you look at the actual performances, that was mainly last season where they were coming together. And that was a type season where they were needing to compete for those points as much as possible individually to show their worth to the team. So on the whole, they do have a good relationship between each other as teammates.
Yeah, certainly in the previous 3 years, I would say it's been relatively, no friction between them. That moves us on to my next point, and that is the relationship between Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg. Obviously, they had incidents before in the past which had scored a bit frosty, and a famous line that I think is one of Katie's favourite lines, being a Haas fan, of "suck my balls," was Kevin Magnussen's reply to Nico Hülkenberg when he tried to apologise. You can tell that they weren't quite friends. Although Magnussen and Hülkenberg both professional, I would say that it would be naive to say that their previous history wasn't taken into account, and when things were maybe getting a little bit tough, could they really count or risk that a Hülkenberg and Magnussen relationship might flare up?
Yeah, and another one would be the consistency. Now, we've said a lot about the development of cars, and it works having consistent teammates within it, especially as cars are usually built around a specific driver. So when they're going into a season where there is a lot of improvement needed, it's good to have the same drivers as you had the season before, as it allows you that opportunity to continue the developments rather than having to rebuild a car completely.
Another point in Grosjean's favour is he has an understanding of how Haas work, and how this is an important factor is that Haas themselves aren't a normal operating F1 team. they pretty much outsource or buy in everything that they possibly can do within the rules of the sport. So they get their chassis made by Dallara for them, and they buy a lot of parts, including obviously the engine from Ferrari, and very limited stuff themselves. So that means it's a smaller team. It's kind of, yeah, Nico Hülkenberg's used to a very normal F1 team. They build the car, they have everything involved in that. When they're doing updates, it's mainly made by them. For Haas, there is a little bit of reliability on other people doing the job well for them, and yeah, they kind of put faith because they do F1 as cheap as they can on a budget. So yeah, Grosjean having an understanding of that is very important.
And going on from that as well, the technical feedback he can provide. So it's another one looking at the progression of the car from last season to this. He has an understanding of what was wrong with the car last season and where the improvements were needed. So he's able to give that feedback a lot clearer than someone that's coming in and having to learn the car and then attempt to give the feedback, which, as we can probably, the best way to look at it is Daniel Ricciardo last season at Renault. It wasn't until the summer break really where having that experience of a driver was able to improve the development side of things. So from the start, Haas need to be in a position where they are competing as highly as possible. So to have that progression based on a driver that was already there gives them that advantage.
And my last point for Romain Grosjean is the fact that he actually is a very talented driver. We did it in our kind of Kevin Magnussen versus Romain Grosjean. His biggest criticism is his lack of consistency. Yes, he has been involved in incidents throughout his career, but he is a very talented, very quick driver. You don't get 10 podiums in F1 if you don't have anything to back it up. You don't fluke those. You don't match Kimi Raikkonen, one of the quickest drivers over the past couple of generations. You know, in that kind of 2013 season, I think he was very close to the speed of Kimi Raikkonen. You don't do that without talent. Haas had kind of really just kind of digging deep and hoping that it all comes together finally with Romain Grosjean, and yeah, he certainly has the talent to be able to be a top driver for them.
The big thing with F1 is it is a results-based sport, and Romain Grosjean over his time at Haas has shown that he is able to perform at a high level and to get those results when needed. Yes, he doesn't consistently score points because of incidents, however, up until last season it had sort of phased out of his drive quite a bit. We went back a step with Romain Grosjean last year, and he does currently have the best result for Haas, and he is one of those drivers that put him in a car that is able to compete near the front, and he will take advantage of opportunities given to him. So if Haas is competing as a best of the rest team next season, if you have a car in front like a Mercedes or a Ferrari retiring, Romain Grosjean is one of those drivers who takes that opportunity and gets that step up, whereas Nico Hülkenberg has shown that it's not always the case, especially Germany last year where his first podium was in sight really before the slowest crash in F1 you'll ever see.
Indeed. But, you know, there were obviously pros and cons to both Romain Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg, but in terms of, I feel the main reasons were probably the financial constraints, a bit of that loyalty. They do seem a kind of family team, sort of to me. And yeah, they just wanted that stability going into a new year where they needed to make a lot of changes off the track and on the car to get things going right on track again. So minimising as many changes as they could was probably a factor.
Yeah, it is one of those where when you're trying to correct something, you don't want wholesale changes. You want to change one thing at a time to identify where you need to improve. So
yeah, but I think certainly from my side of things, I do hope that he gets it together, because I don't think anybody really likes to see a driver struggling on the F1 grid. And with the talent that he possesses, it would be nice if Haas and Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean got it together and had a good season to their capability on track. So we wish him the best for 2020, and that is the first 10 reason why of 2020.
There you go.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on the 10 reasons or you thought about Romain Grosjean. Do you agree with us? Do you think there are more? Do you agree with the fact that he was signed? That would be an interesting one as well. But comment down below on your thoughts there. What else can you do, Ash?
You can subscribe so that our videos are going into your YouTube inbox, so it's nice and easy for you to find them. But you can also press the bell icon so you'll get a notification when one goes live, and you can be straight on to see what we will be talking about this time.
And if you've liked the video, let us know. Give us a thumbs up on the video. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.